Day 15 of my adventure with the circular sock machine. Today I am making a sock that is my husband's size. Hopefully it will work out okay. I'm doing a mock rib on the top where it's 7 by 1 for a little bit of stretch and hugging in around his leg, and then I'll do the heel and the toe. I'm doing a deep heel and just a regular toe. I've taken out every 8th needle for the leg, and then before I start the heel, I'll add those needles back in. Here we go. Here, so we'll start on the leg. Starting on the hung hem, and I did 30 rounds for the hung hem. So shortly I'll be picking up those stitches and putting them up on the active needles. I might have done 40. Let me grab my note. Nope, it is 30 rounds for the hung hem. And after I get that hem hung, then I'll do 60 rounds for the leg. Write down what I'm doing because, as you can tell, my memory doesn't always serve me well. And I've been doing so many different things that I want to make sure that I do everything the same for the second sock. So I have a close to matching pair. I'm sure they won't be exactly the same. As you can see now, we are actually cranking the leg out, and again that is 60 rounds. just fixing a couple of mistakes, and I'm also, I've added the missing needles in for the heel. So every time there was a gap, I had to pull up a stitch from an adjacent needle from the round below and put it on the new needle. Now I'm starting the heel decreases. You'll see me adjusting the heel forks periodically during the heel. You need to keep it up fairly close to the needles to give you enough downward pressure that things don't pop off the needles. I am still playing around with that, and definitely not perfect. You also will see me pick up a few drop stitches along the way. That tends to happen more in the heel and toe increases rather than the decreases. So we decrease to a certain needle on each side, basically a third of the needles on the heel remain working the whole time. See some white marks on the fins of the cylinder, and that's the needle that we decreased to. There's also an orange mark at the very top of the cylinder, and that's the halfway point. I think we're ready to start increasing now. So when you increase, you push the needle down, and then I pick up the yarn and put it behind, and that locks it in. There are some other ways to do that, but this is what I'm doing for right now. As I get better, I'll try some other methods. almost completed the heel increases, and this is the point where things tend to go wrong for me. I believe I drop a stitch on the right hand side at the very last increase, which is frustrating. I just have to slow down and pay more attention there so that I don't drop one, and I need to make sure I pay attention to my weights at that point. Now I am cranking out the foot, and I'm going 76 rounds for the foot. Adjusting my weights again. Now I am starting the toe decreases, which basically works exactly the same way as the heel does. So we just keep going back and forth and raising a needle on each side. And when you raise the needle, that takes it out of work. So the lower needles are actually knitting, and that's making the toe, and the raised needles are not working. They're just hanging out for right now. Now we're to the point where we're starting the toe increases. So we'll push a needle down, actually 2 needles at the very beginning, and pick up the yarn and move it in back of those needles or behind the needles. And that wraps those needles and prevents a hole. done with the toe increases now, and see there at that intersection I did drop a stitch, so I'm fixing that. And there's a wrap on it too, so that makes it a little more difficult, but I think I'm getting it right. So once I get that fixed, then I'm going to add in the waste yarn and knit about 10 rounds with the waste yarn. So once I crank this off the cylinder, then I'm going to have to Kitchener the toe up. And then the sock is basically done. I've just got to do it one more time. I cut the project yarn and I made sure to give myself a good length of that, which I will use for grafting the toe together or Kitchenering it. And so now I'm going to add in my waste yarn. Oops. Another little mess up. Gotta fix that. Just like with hand knitting, every time you make a mistake and fix it, you learn something. So, just part of the process here. Okay, we're back in business, and we'll continue to crank around with the waste yarn, and then we'll get this sock off the machine.